Welcome everyone to this week's edition of Studying Scriptures.
Okay.
I'm Aki Shlomo. This is Akoti,
Rip Kaya.
my lovely Isha, and welcome if you are tuning in to the weekly upload on YouTube. Welcome to all of y'all as well. You know, y'all family. Y'all get the usual welcome.
Oh, they
Did anybody get a chance to take a look at the video I posted in the Kodesh Conversations Facebook group by Yona Golab, titled The Winds of War? That was interesting. We started watching that last night and we picked it up again this morning. Just curious. He started digging a little bit into Ezekiel 38 and 39. And I actually went back and found two more videos he did where he touches on Ezekiel 37. And he threw me a little bit at the beginning. You know, Yona is one of the brews that, you know, we listen to. Again, I say this a lot, don't necessarily agree with everything that he presents, but at this point, you got to be able to, you know, siphon through what's good and what's not.
Yeah, I think Yona, one of those brews that believe the Shabbat changes from week to week.
Right. Kodesh Conversations, Facebook.
Yeah.
Somebody share a link for it in the chat if you don't mind. Shabbat Shalom, Koti Celeste.
Shabbat Shalom, hey.
Yeah, interesting view. If you want to kind of tie scriptures in with, you know, current events, a little bit interesting stuff. Before we get started, anybody want to come up? You got anything you want to share before we jump into this reading and scripture reading? Oh yeah, verse chapter 7, starting in chapter 7, I think. Testimonies.
Koti Kimmy gave a testimony about the garage next door.
Okay.
Let me tell y'all something again. Okay, I'm done after this. I only mention it because it's a Gentile out there finishing up the fence. And he been out there since about 11:30. And my guy is struggling. They should have stayed out there and helped him out. But it made me think about how that situation is in Florida, where they got rid of all of the immigrants. And now they gotta, rely on the Gentiles to work them farms. And how they were saying how they don't work as fast, they don't work as hard, they complain, and they don't do a good job. And I mean, he not working smart at all. He not. I could went out there and give him a few pointers, you know what I'm saying? But I don't want to get in his way. But he's struggling. That's the only reason why I bought it.
And then
all of that just made me realize that us as a people, without knowing who we are and what our cultures were, unconsciously doing these things, having this cleanliness, automatically knowing that, you're going to wash your hands when you come out of the bathroom. You're going to clean your food when you bring it into the house if you brought it in from outside. You know what I'm saying? Just us still having that mindset, even though we had gotten everything taken away from us, and still being that leading force. Because like Koti Tasha said, y'all already know we the ones that y'all done bought up all the bleach and all the Fabuloso. Y'all don't know what Fabuloso is. You ain't never used no Fabuloso before. You know what I'm saying? But that stuff we already been, we know how to clean up after ourselves. We know how to remain clean physically, not knowing that had always been our culture.
Okay. Yeah, family. Some of this stuff is supposed to start at home. Y'all know how our parents were and our grandparents were and our aunties and uncles. This is stuff that, you're supposed to learn as a child. You're supposed to know not to sneeze on people, not to wipe your nose with your hand in public, and then go touching stuff.
Yeah. Pleased to meet you. My name is.
All that stuff. That's anyway, family. Yeah, y'all done gave me a good amount to edit before I even get
I know
started with
that's
this
right.
video.
Let's just say the welcome now. 'Cause
Listen, I'm partially guilty.
my goodness. No, I think Kimmy started this. I think it's safe to say Kimmy started this.
It's all good,
This
sis.
is Kimmy.
But yeah, it's good to be with y'all again. And this week, we are picking up this week's read in 2 Samuel chapter 7. And I think it's on you.
That's right. No,
Okay.
Okay. All right.
No?
Fine. Ladies should go first.
Okay,
Right.
sure.
Keep that same message tomorrow. And it came to be when this, okay, we pick it up at 2 Samuel chapter 7.
Chapter 7.
And it came to be when the sovereign was dwelling in his house, and Yahuwah had given him rest from all his enemies all around, that the sovereign said to Nathan the prophet, "See now, I am dwelling in my house of cedar, but the ark of Yahuwah dwells within curtains." And Nathan said to the sovereign, "Go do all that is in your heart, for Yahuwah is with you." And it came to be that night, the word of Yahuwah came to Nathan, saying, "Go and say to my servant Dawid, thus says Yahuwah, would you build a house for me to dwell in? For I have not dwelt in a house since the time that I brought the children of Israel up from Mizraim, even to this day, but have moved about in a tent and in a dwelling place. Wherever have I walked with all the children of Israel? Have I ever spoken a word to anyone from the tribes of Israel, whom I commanded to shepherd my people Israel, saying, why have you not built me a house of cedar? And now say to my servant Dawid, thus says Yahuwah of hosts, I took you from the pasture, from following the flock, to be ruler over my people, over Israel. And I have been with you wherever you have gone, and have cut off all of your enemies from before you, and have made you a great name, like the name of the great ones who are on the earth. And I shall appoint a place for my people Israel, and I shall plant them, and they shall dwell in that place of their own, and no longer be afraid. Neither shall the children of wickedness oppress them again, as at the first. Question. Has that happened?
Give us a yes or no to what you think in the chat section, and then I have a separate question.
No, it has not happened. So when Abba Yah was speaking these words to Dawid, he already knew that it was going to be a process. It was going to be a long journey, long for us, but short for him, just a day or two, maybe 3 tops. You know what I'm saying? But he knew that it was going to be a journey. Okay. So he was speaking prophecy to Dawid right now.
In addition to that, as I'm reading about this Ark of the Covenant that Dawid was concerned for, and where he was saying, look, I'm sitting up fancy, but the Ark is in a curtain. And this is the Ark of Yahuwah. I remember in my first passage, reading through my Standard 66, I used to get a little bit turned around because I would see different terminologies. And I think we talked about this briefly before. Well, some places you read about the tent of appointment, some places you read about the tent of witness and things like that. And this is the tent that Yahuwah is telling Dawid, I've been dwelling in tent since when I brought y'all up out of Egypt, and you and the children of Israel were in the wilderness. I was in a tent. I didn't ask anybody to build me a house. I think that's interesting because although it's going to be given to Dawid to receive the plans to build a house, in other words, he's saying, I'm not saying you can't, and it's going to be given to Shlomo to actually build a house in all its splendor, as in, I'm not saying you can't. He clearly says here, I didn't ask anybody to build me a house. I've been moving around in this tent when I dwell with you, but then in a certain other place, and somebody posted scripture if you know it, it says, the heavens are my dwelling place. Where is the house that you built for me? In other words, we have this human conception that we can contain Yah in a tent or a kingdom or a castle or anything. This place that he gave Moses the design for was simply a physical mirror image of his heavenly dwelling place. It was the place that he said, when I come to be in the midst of you, this is where I will rest. In between the two cherubs on the Ark of the Covenant. This was the one place that he would come down and dwell with us. In that tent, when it was a moving tent, and in that house after Shlomo built it, when it was built as such. This was technically called his house, even though he said, where's the house you built? But this was the only place that was ever scripturally called his house. Kimmy posted in here a church. I'm glad you posted that, because it is erroneous, to say the least, insulting, in my opinion, to have all of these churches in the hood say that they are the house of, trying to make you think house of Yah. They don't say the house of Yah, they say the house of God. But even among Israel, if we want to take it there, if everybody got Yah's house over here and Yah's house over there, and scripturally that's not what it said, there's something wrong there. He did want a dwelling place among us that had nothing to do with the physical building, which was these vessels. And that's a study for another time. I mean, I know some of y'all know that, but
I was just gonna say, you know, his name is Yahuwah of hosts. And so as a spirit, you know, that's what he tried to tell somebody else. It's like, do I dwell with something made by hands? I don't dwell. I mean, with your understanding, with your human understanding, you feel as if you have to have a building and whatever, but that's not how I move. I move from body to body. You know what I'm saying? If I want to get on this person, have this person do this, whatever. And then if you really look at it, when the Messiah came, you know what I'm saying, in Pentateuch, he kind of had the spirit that was on him, or the spirit that was on the man Yahushua, kind of had that same, you know what I'm saying? He slept outdoors. He slept, you know what I'm saying? And you know, he didn't go get no horse no stallion to drive. Just give me a little donkey. I just need to get there. You know, and like he told somebody else, he's like, I don't even have a house to lay my head. What you want to roll with me for? You know what I'm saying? Me and you is not the same. We got different like beliefs on what's a necessity.
Well, I like the key part of what you said is when the Messiah came and pitched a tent. In other words, a dwelling place for HaRuach.
Yeah.
So in other words, you know, again, Messiah himself being the picture of what he wanted to do with the whole entire nation of Israel, which is, I want to dwell in you, not just among you, but actually in you. Messiah told us over and over, know ye not that I am in the Father, and the Father is in me, and we are in you. If you understand what he was saying, right?
Abraham, with all his money, did Abraham ever live in a building? Always a tent. Jacob, Isaac, you know what I'm saying? All tent dwellers. I don't think Jacob like lived in a building until, you know, he moved to Egypt, maybe. But knowing him, he was real old school. He was like, put my tent up out there.
Hebrews,
You know?
Hebrews, Romans, nomads. Okay.
Wow. I mean, y'all really have something against the mindset of settling down here in this existence. You know, like he was Abraham, but was a friend because Abraham knew that he was a sojourner here. He understood the construct. He understood that this was just a run through his first.
Understood the assignment.
He understood the assignment. Okay.
Where you leave off? 11?
Even from the day I commanded rulers over my people Israel, and have caused you to rest from all your enemies. And Yahuwah has declared to you that he would make you a house. When your days are filled and you rest with your fathers, I shall raise up your seed after you,
Read
Who-
with us. Apologize.
who comes from your inward parts and shall establish his reign. He does build a house for my name, and I shall establish the throne of his reign forever. I am to be his father, and he is to be my son. If he does perversely, I shall reprove him with the rod of men and with the blows of the sons of men. But my loving commitment does not turn aside from him, as I turned it aside from Shaul, who I removed from before you. So a lot of people have a question like, did Shlomo ever get forgiven?
Mhm.
So here's your answer.
Mhm.
And your house and your reign are to be steadfast forever before you. Your throne is established forever.
And again, I would also ask, was this simply talking about Shlomo?
Yeah.
When your days are filled and you rest with your father, I shall raise up
Yeah, I
your
guess
seed
you're
after
right.
you,
Yeah.
who comes from your inward parts and shall establish his kingdom. He does build my house for my name.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Shlomo built a house for Yahuwah's name, but
Nehemiah
Mashiach
never
is
did. Yeah.
also what Nehemiah
Yeah.
did. But again, when we talked about Yahusha, the priest in Zechariah.
Mhm.
Zechariah 3, Zechariah 6, Zechariah 9. Jehoshaphat, Yahusha, who was crowned.
Mhm.
They took the turban off him and put a clean turban on him and said, behold, you and these men among you are men of name, men of symbol.
Mhm. Mhm.
Behold the man, and then speaking with Yahusha, it said, behold the man whose name is the branch.
Mhm.
Again, a similitude. And he said, he is going to build my house to them. But it was still, as I understand, a picture of what Messiah was ultimately coming to do,
Yeah.
coming to build the body of Messiah,
Mhm.
meaning these physical, a collective of physical bodies that would operate as one. A group of many operating as one.
Mhm.
This would be the ultimate house that he was speaking of dwelling in. And when I say dwell in, I mean the same way a spirit dwells in a human body when you talk about a physical possession.
Mhm.
And so this looks like a foreshadowing of that as well.
Mhm.
It's not that it doesn't relate to Shlomo, it does, because it says, if he does perversely, I shall reprove him. That happened.
Mhm.
With the rod of men and with the blows of the sons of men. My kindness does not turn aside from him. That happened, as it did aside from Shaul. But the reason that Messiah didn't have to deal with that part in verse 14 is because he never turned aside.
He never did. He never did perversely. He never.
Okay.
He did not sin.
Okay.
He did not sin.
Hallelujah.
When dealing with Shlomo, and as far as like, is he the author of Ecclesiasticus Ecclesiasticus? You kind of hear like this remorseful
Mhm.
in the end,
The
you know,
lament.
the lament, you know what I'm saying? And I've always felt like, he turned back. I mean, I felt like he was a perfect
It reads
example.
like that,
A perfect example of, just man, never giving up, and as long as you got breath,
Mhm.
you know what I
It's
mean?
not too late.
Yeah,
Hallelujah.
okay, hallelujah. But okay, and picking up at 16.
Okay.
And your house and your reign are to be steadfast forever before you. Your throne is established forever. According to all these words and according to all this vision. So Nathan spoke to Dawid. And Sovereign Dawid went in and sat before Yahuwah, and he said, who am I, O Master Yahuwah? And what is my house that you have brought me this far? And yet this was a small matter in your eyes, O Master Yahuwah. And you have also spoken of your servant's house for a great while to come. And is this the teachings of man, O Master Yahuwah? And what more does Dawid say to you? For you, Master Yahuwah, you know your servant. Because of your word, and according to your own heart, you have done all this greatness, to make it known to your servant. You are great indeed, O Master Yahuwah, for there is none like you, and there is no power but you, according to all that we have heard from our ears. And who is like your people, like Israel, the one nation on earth whom Elohim or Yahuwah went to ransom for himself as a people, to make for himself a name, and to do for you greatness and awesome deeds for your land before your people, whom you ransomed for yourself from Mitzrayim, from the nations and their mighty ones.
Mm.
And you have established for yourself your people Israel as your own people forever. And you, Yahuwah, have become their power. And now, O Yahuwah, power, the word which you have spoken concerning your servant and concerning his house, establish it forever and do as you have said. And let your name be made great forever, saying, Yahuwah of hosts is the power over all Israel. And let the house of your servant Dawid be established before you. For you, O Yahuwah of hosts, the power of Israel, have revealed this to your servant, saying, I build you a house. Therefore, your servant has taken heart to pray this prayer to you. And now, O Master Yahuwah, you are power, and your words are true. And you have spoken this goodness to your servant. And now be pleased to bless the house of your servant, to be before you forever. For you, O Master Yahuwah, have spoken it. And with your blessings, let the house of your servant be blessed forever.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Man, there's some good stuff there. This ransoming that Dawid is speaking of, where he ransomed Israel for his name's sake and for himself. Just think about if you could think about what happened with Egypt, Mitzrayim, in those days, and how the world must have looked on that situation when the Almighty power brought the nation of Israel out to uplift his name. And then when you think about that prophecy, then when you think about that prophecy in Jeremiah that says, in this future event, no longer will it say Yah lives, who brought the nation of Israel up out of Egypt. Yeah, this next event is going to be that big.
Yeah.
Ask yourself, has that happened yet?
Nah.
And if you're not sure, let's look at the details, because this says, your own people forever, and you, Yahuwah, have become their power. And it says, and let your name be made great forever, saying, Yahuwah of hosts is the power over Israel. Well, the people who claim to be us
Won't even say his name.
aren't using his name.
Won't even
They aren't esteeming his name. They aren't making his name great. They say that his name is too sacred to say. But they'll use any other name. Adonai, Lord, God, all that. They'll use all these other, even other deities. 72 names they will tell you it's okay to use, but won't tell you Yahuwah.
You know, because there's a bitterness there.
Absolutely.
You didn't choose us, we took this.
Absolutely. And so to put that together, though, they are not doing this what Dawid is understanding Yahuwah to be saying was his purpose for us. I did this with you to make my name great among the peoples of the earth. Who is making his name great among the peoples of the earth? Not them. Not them. Chapter 8. And after this, it came to be that Dawid smote the Philistines and humbled them. And Dawid took the bridle of the mother city out of the hand of the Philistines. What's the bridle of the mother city?
Like the capital? Or like, the...
Anybody ride a horse?
Yeah.
The bridle is that thing they put on the horse's head, isn't it? I know the bit is the one they put in the mouth. The bridle is the one over the head. Control.
Yeah.
Control. Is what it sounds like to me. Correct me if I'm wrong. The bridle of the mother city out of the hands of the Philistines. Read along with us. And then I won't hear you having a separate conversation because you'll be reading with us. Okay. He also smote Moab and measured them off with a line, causing them to lie down on the earth. With 2 lines, he measured off those to be put to death, and with 1 complete line, those to be kept alive. And the Moabites became Dawid's servants and brought presents. Dawid also smote Hadad.
Had the 0?
Hadadezer, hold on, son of Rehob, sovereign of Zeboah, as he went to restore his rule over at the river Euphrates. And Dawid captured from him 1,700 horsemen and 20,000 foot soldiers. And Dawid destroyed all the chariots, but he left of them 100 chariots. And the Armenes, or the Armenians of Damascus, I know where Damascus is on the map, came to help Hadadezer, sovereign of Zobah. And Dawid smote 22,000 of the Armenes. And Dawid put watch posts in Aram. Aram is the place where the Armenes lived. Aram of Damascus. And the Armenes became Dawid's servants and brought presents. You see what's happening? It's a pattern here.
I love it.
And they struggling over there now. Can't get no control over them. Because it ain't for you to get control. Dawid didn't have no problem taking control. Okay, you bringing presents?
But,
All
you,
right.
but you see why they get feelings. You see why the feelings is there.
Okay, you bringing presents? Okay, I relent.
Make sure the presents is here. You know I like presents.
All time, please.
Please.
3 times a year.
On time.
Okay, anyway, I just to throw back to the study on the end time feasts, right? Because scripture says in prophecy, 3 times a year, all nations will come up to Jerusalem to bring their gifts at those appointed times, right? Those are presents.
Yes, it is.
At an appointed time. Okay, so I think this may be a foreshadowing.
They're gonna do it again.
All right, that's book. And from Betah, I apologize. And Dawid took the shields of gold which were on the servants of Hadadezer and brought them to Jerusalem.
They ain't need them.
And Betah, and from Berothai, cities of Hadadezer, sovereign Dawid took very much bronze.
They ain't need it.
Yeah, they was using them for shields too, and swords and all that. And Toi, sovereign of Hamath, heard that Dawid had smitten all the army of Hadadezer. And Toi sent Joram, his son, to sovereign Dawid to ask peace of him and bless him, because he had fought against Hadadezer and smote him. For Hadadezer had battles with Toi, and Joram brought with him objects of silver and objects of gold.
You ain't gotta take mine.
And objects of bronze. I give it to you in advance.
I give it.
There you go. I respect your authority. Sovereign Dawid also set these apart to Yahuwah. Wow, look at that. That is such a contrast from what Shaul did. Shaul,
he had to melt it down and build a statue
to himself.
Melt it down, build me a statue.
Along with the silver and the gold that he had set apart from all the nations which he had humbled. And from Aram, and from Moab, and from the children of Ammon, and from the Philistines, and from Amalek, or Amulet, however you pronounce that, and from the spoil of Hadadezer, son of Rehob, sovereign of Zobah. And Dawid made a name for himself when he returned from the smiting of 18,000 Armenes, or Armenians, in the Valley of Salt. And he put watch posts in Edom. What's a watch post?
What the American government got in every
yes
the consulate, the American
same thing,
embassy,
same thing. There's another term for that as well.
To the street in all these different places.
You who does in the military, y'all know the term I'm looking for. It's slipping my mind right now. Okay. So throughout all Edom, verse 14, he put watch posts in Edom. Throughout all Edom, he put watch posts, and all the Edomites became Dawid's servants. And Yahuwah saved Dawid wherever he went. Yahuwah saved Dawid wherever he went. And Dawid reigned over all Israel. And Dawid was doing right ruling, or righteousness, and righteousness to all his people. And Joab, son of Zuriah, was over the army, and Jehoshaphat, son of Ahihud, was the recorder, and Zadok, son of Ahitub, and Ahimelech, son of Abiathar, were the priests. And Sariah was the scribe, and Benaiah, or Benayahu, son of Jehoiada, was over the Kerethites and the Pelethites, and David's sons were the priests.
6 and 7.
Sure.
And David said, "Is there still anyone left in the house of Shaul that I might show him loving commitment because of Jonathan?"
Now that I'd have smashed.
Right. My man did swept across the land and just, I gave him the green light to knock a few heads. And my man went and knocked a few heads off.
And Yahuwah called that righteousness.
Man.
I had a conversation with one of my cousins who is listening to see if he understand or agree with, just listening, what we believe. And we were talking about things that seem to contradict in the Bible. And one of the things I said, well, give me one so I could, instead of me just speculating, give me one that you see that there's a contradiction so that I can speak on it. And he's like, well, in the 10 Commandments, don't it say thou shalt not kill? And then, after that, aren't like people charged to kill like over and over and over? I said, that's a good point. And I said, and we had already talked about that, the good thing about lining those different translations up and going back and looking at the Hebrew is you realize that where it looks like it says thou shalt not kill, the more accurate translation there is thou shalt not commit murder. And so what David was doing, and I asked him, I said, is there a difference, let me ask you, between murder and self-defense? Is there a difference between murder and going to battle? He said, yeah, absolutely. I 100% concur. And that's what David was doing. I had somebody else that's a whole nother family member, they call David all kind of murderous things I'm not gonna repeat. He said David was a murderer, a scallywag.
He sure did.
All kind of crazy mess.
Sure did. But I mean, there is a, like, okay, so if you let like the Talmud, the way the Talmud or whatever, speak of it.
That's muddy. We can go to Talmud.
But it said that those commandments, those laws was given to the children of Israel about the children of Israel. So when I say brother, the more accurate, when I say neighbor, the more accurate term is brother. So where it says thou shalt not look at thy neighbor's ass, thou shalt look at thy neighbor's wife, the more term is brother. So you ain't supposed to look at your brother. So when Abiyah was giving them laws, they believe is that's how you as brothers, that's how you deal with each other. Versus you know what I'm saying? So like it pointed out how there were different laws for Gentiles.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? There were different
I was gonna say that's technically accurate. When you said neighbor, you were talking about a kinsman. You were not talking about something now, but that didn't mean that it was okay to do to those who weren't your kinsmen.
Talmud did.
And that's how they twisted it to their own destruction. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I said that to say, a lot of times, and that's what Paul was trying to get the Hebrews to understand too about the law. Like the law was given to Israel for Israel. You know what I'm saying? And so the Hebrews was just kind of like real heavy on the Gentiles or whatever, because certain parts of the law, whatever. And Paul was like, listen, first get them to stop, that'll come, but just remember that the law was for Israel, about Israel. You know what I'm saying? Right. So there's that too. So for your enemy, when y'all say ride out on your enemy, kill everybody, don't be disobedient.
No, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And again, more specifically, he literally says that this was attributed as righteousness, what David did. For some reason. Could it be that these were the nations that was mixing with things they weren't supposed to be mixing with, and Yah was using David to rid the land of all of that mess?
David did commit murder. He was forgiven for it, but he did.
Oh, he did.
He
Yeah.
did. You know
But
what I'm saying?
I wouldn't equate that with this though. But yes, he did.
Shabbat Shalom, Koti.
Shabbat Shalom, Koti.
Yeah, Dawid did commit murder.
He did.
And then we can see the difference in that action.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? There was, you know, you were snaky. You know what you did, brother. It was malice. It was, you set that man up to be murdered. You know what I'm saying? That blood on your hands.
Okay.
Versus the difference between what's his second wife's husband? First husband? Remember, he was going in on him too. He was about to go in on him too when a boy tried to cheat him. You know what I'm saying? She stopped him, but he's like, "You better be lucky you stopped me because I was
Yeah,
coming for that head."
died though.
Yeah, I mean, but you can see that was when Abiyah had already said you deaf to you because of your ways and the way that you are.
Absolutely.
So he was getting ready to use Dawid as a tool. You know what I'm saying? But then. Yeah, the wife, she stepped in and stopped it, but he still died because
That just made me think of Vengeance is Mine. It's like Dawid, you don't have to do anything here when I'm doing something.
Yeah.
Just let me handle this.
Yeah.
All right. Seattle people in the house.
Seattle strong today.
We're gonna come out there and visit John one day too. I'm not saying next year, but eventually we're gonna do that.
Hey, go come out there on the West Coast and see what it look like.
Okay. All right. Where you at?
Okay. So am I reading?
Yes.
We in 9?
Yes.
Okay.
2.
Okay, right, 2. And then the house of Shaul had a servant whose name was Tessaba. And they had called him to Dawid, and the sovereign said to him, "Are you Siba?" And he said, "Your servant."
Mm.
And the sovereign said, "Is there not still someone of the house of Shaul, so that I show him the loving commitment of Yahuwah?" And Siba said to the sovereign, "There is still a son of Jonathan, lame in his feet."
Mm.
So the sovereign said to him, "Where is he?" And Siba said to the sovereign, "See, he is in the house of Machir, son of Aminiel, in Lodabar."
Mm.
And sovereign Dawid went and brought him out of the house of Machir, son of Aminiel, from Lodabar, and Mephibosheth, son of Jehonathan, son of Shaul, came to Dawid and fell on his face and did obeisance. And Dawid said, "Mephibosheth." And he answered, "Here I am, your servant."
And Dawid then said to him, "Do not fear, for I shall certainly show you kindness because of Jehonathan your father, and shall return to you all the land that Shaul your grandfather, and let you eat bread at my table continually."
Mm.
And he bowed himself and said, "What is your servant that you should turn to such a dead dog as I?"
Mm.
And the sovereign called to Siba, servant of Shaul, and said to him, "I have given to your master's son all that belonged to Shaul and to all his house.
Mm.
And you and your sons and your servants shall work the land for him.
Wow.
And you shall bring in its yield, and your master's son shall have food to eat. But let Mephibosheth, your master's son, eat bread at my table always."
Wow.
And Siba had 15 sons and 20 servants.
Wow.
And Siba said to the sovereign, "According to all that my master, the sovereign, has commanded his servant, so your servant does. As for Mephibosheth," said the sovereign, "he shall eat at my table as one of the sons of the sovereign." In other words, he's going to be like one of my own sons. And Mephibosheth had a young son whose name was Micah. And all who dwelt in the house of Siba were servants of Mephibosheth. And Mephibosheth was dwelling in Jerusalem, for he ate continually at the sovereign's table, and he was lame in both his feet.
Wow, lame in both his feet. You think he was like, you ever seen one of them real bow-legged people? You know, they probably call them bow-leg on the block. They go bow-leg. And they so bow-leg, they like short. And they be like, they run real fast. Dude, I'm telling you. You ever see him
Okay,
run?
sis.
Colt, have you ever seen him run? It's like watching a cheetah run from the police across the, because Bowleg was always running from the police. But my goodness, that boy take off. I'm telling you.
Yo, East agrees.
See? I'm telling you. Y'all
Y'all
think I'm
something
joking.
else.
See?
Y'all something else.
Oh,
All right, family. Well, that is our reading for the day.
see, look, it's
Oh,
going
wow.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Now
Thank
you
you.
say, I know somebody's Bowleg.
See,
It's
that's
okay
what I'm
to say
saying. Hey, next time you see a Bowleg man, tell him give him $5 to be run. See how fast you go. No? Okay.
All kind of wrong.
Yeah.
All right, family. We will be picking up next week in chapter 10. In addition to that, I don't know if you guys saw the other video I shared that Rib shared with me, where Brother YAHUSHUA came out and spoke on why he no longer does videos discussing the Israelite understanding. I thought that was interesting. If you didn't see that, check it out. If you can't find it, or if somebody don't put a link in here, it is in the Kodesh Conversations group. I'm gonna give my thoughts on that in a separate video. I'm not gonna even call it a response video because it's really not a response video, but I am going to give some thoughts because he said some really interesting things that I think we should take away a warning from. And so I will do a my thoughts video. So look for that probably sometime next week as well. Okay. All right, family. Well, now's the time. If anybody else wants to come to the mic as we wrap this up and close this out. I know it's a little shorter today. Last week it had been a minute. It had been a while.
Since we talked to y'all.
We talked for 2 hours before we even started to read. It's cool. I left most of it in there. It had been a while. Catching up. Come on up, sis.
Question is, when he was talking about in 9:13, when he said he was dwelling in Ephraim and he ate at the table continuously forever, is that like I always look for like parallels of what's to come between the Messiah and David and how we see certain things. So when he said he brought him into the table, is that like a parallel of the Messiah bringing others into the table that's not of Israel?
I didn't think about that like that, LT, but it could be. That's an interesting thought. Yeah.
No.
I think David was a very I hesitate to use the word good because of what he did, but I do think he was good. I think David was a good
He was a good
king.
dude. He was
a good guy. And I think that he had a lot of the attributes that Yah said he wanted, not only in us as a nation of people, but in someone who was going to be running his kingdom. And so I don't think it's a far leap to say that he did something that Messiah will also be doing. I don't think that's a far leap.
I know we have this image of, good being somebody who, sing the birds and,
Yeah, I don't sing the birds.
Sprinkle fairy, you know what I'm saying? But good is somebody that's obedient. Somebody that's ready to roll when Abiyah say roll. Grab your sword when it's time to grab your sword. Sometimes you need to behead something. You know what I'm saying?
No nonsense when it's time to be no nonsense.
Stern when it's
But
time to be
also
stern.
compassionate when it's time to be compassionate.
Hey, I mean, don't be giving me nobody out there. You always get this. You put these images. You got Cinderella in the forest singing to the birds and helping little ants over the stream, the puddles of water and stuff. And we have that image of good in us, and that's just and they want and we have our own people that are looking at David and call him some kind of like savage or like that. We ain't gonna say his name.
Yeah,
but
that
man,
was my stepfather. I don't mind.
He fervently went in on that David. He was a murderer. He was a killer. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, dude, he was obedient.
Yeah. Okay.
Cain.
Okay.
Functional.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't. Like I said, Yah said David was a man after his own heart. and that the way he ran his kingdom was the way he wanted his kingdom to be ran. So that's a beautiful thing. And the fact that he did that, I think, was a act of humility on Dawid's behalf, and an act of friendship for the love he had for Jonathan. Messiah speaks in the same way about friendship, and love for your brothers and sisters in a way that is righteous and in no way tainted, as opposed to the love that the world speaks about now. And I'm not even, because there's two different versions of that, right? There's this love that is this doctrine that's pushed by those who know, or who get this doctrine from those who knew that they were pushing something that's wicked. I mean, extremely wicked. The love of flesh that you're not supposed to love, the fornication and incest and free love and all that type of stuff. It was really pushed to its height in the 60s in the advent of free love. But then there's this other love, worldly love, that is just not a scriptural love. And we're more used to that, especially coming out of the Christian church. We're used to saying, you know, I love this person, or I love that person, or this person loved me, or that person loves me, without holding them to a righteous definition of love. So that's the other worldly definition of love. It's like, well, they brought me into the world, or they my kinfolk, or they my blood, so we must love each other. Blood is thicker than water type of love. But that doesn't always equate to a scriptural definition of love. Even our friends, our worldly friends, our high school friends, our college friends, we may say, you know, man, you know, I love you, blah, 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 whatever. But if you're not able to righteously correct someone, again, with compassion, but correction is love. And so not correcting someone is not love. To let someone die in their sin is not love. That's not it. Worldly perspective may say, nah, I don't want to hurt their feelings because I love them. But a righteous love will tiptoe on the lines of maybe even hurting their feelings, because they say, I have to tell you this. I can't not tell you this. I always go to the a little bit comical example of my brother. You know, we were talking about, you know, do you tell somebody if somebody got a booger in their nose? Or do you just ignore it? Well, if you care about that person, you find a way to let them know, right? You know, you don't just let them walk around with it.
You know, you
hanging
can
out
play
their
it off.
nose.
You know, hey, you got something in your nose, some dust or something. Play it off, whatever.
something.
You know what I'm saying?
Something.
Just get the ball rolling in the direction. But you know what I think it is too? I think that what happened, the problem came, and I know people say, "Woo, y'all blame the Christian church for everything," but the problem came when the wrong people got a hold of the Bible and started teaching from that. So the Messiah was very clear. Abba Yah was very clear. Do these things for your brother. Those following my law, such commandments. Where did we get that from? The Messiah said, my brother and my sister, my mother and my father is those who follow the law, statutes, and commandments.
That's right.
So everything he spoke about, turn the other cheek to your enemy, like you know, to your your brother that you can't get along with. Come on, you know, he my brother. We both commandment followers. But you know what I'm saying? He petty and I don't really care for him. And every time we see each other, you know what I'm saying? And you know, so you know what was being said. You know who they was being said, but somebody got a hold of this book and got to teaching that Jesus loved the whole world.
Right.
And sing to birds and show your pelvic bone and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And then now our whole understanding of it has been tainted and twisted. Coach Sasha, before you come up, I want to Coach Keisha to come back to the mic. You think I didn't see your hand up, sis?
And let me say this too, while you coming up to the mic, sis. And it may sound like emphasis on the Christian church, but we're only saying that because that's the modern embodiment of something that was around way before the Christian church, but was really evident right around the time Rome came into serious power. And when Rome and Israelites, to be honest, started commingling And now this information was being shared between them. When Rome decided that they were going to be the authority over this information, that's really the inception of them taking over and putting these doctrines into
action.
Let's go with that. Yeah.
And
putting them into action. And they've been going ever since.
Yeah, and for the record, we are not saying that Gentiles cannot be brothers or sisters. We're saying that they can be brothers and sisters if they grasp on to this law, such a man. Then guess what? Now that's your brother and sister. Now that's who he's talking about. The Bible is speaking of those who follow this law, who come under his covering. Period. Okay. Everybody else, the Bible ain't asked you to turn your cheek and let some atheist take a bite out of your cheek. That ain't what the Messiah is saying. You know what I'm saying? Some vampire take a bite out of your neck. Oh, he said to give the vampire my neck. That ain't what he said. He said take a sword to his head. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Chop it off. Okay. Cain, the axe. Yeah. Koti. Yes.
Who was that you were telling to come to the mic?
Koti.
Okay.
Keisha. Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, sis.
Okay, I have a question in 8 and 2.
Okay.
When he had the Moabites and he put them in lines and laid them down, would that be a similitude to separating the wheat from the tare? Because how would he know who was the ones to go in to be put to death and who was the ones to be saved and who would get up and bring the gifts?
Right, y'all getting deep today. Good questions. All right, I see you. So let's read. He also smote Moab and measured them off with a line, causing them to lie down on the earth. With 2 lines, he measured off those to be put to death, and with 1 complete line, those to be kept alive. And the Moabites became David's servants and brought presents, those that was willing to be humbled and obedient. Yeah. And so you see some places where you see prophecy about what's going to happen to all of Moab. Yeah. You also see prophecy about what's going to happen to all of Edom.
Yeah.
But then you see other places, and I don't find this to be contradictory. I find it to be holding true what y'all said, which is this is for anybody who grab a hold of it, right? And so those who are willing to humble themselves to the authority that was placed in power in the earth at that time was okay. Their position was to serve. Yeah, it may sound harsh, but in the end, it's going to be some people whose position is to serve.
I think this is a foreshadowing as well, like how you were saying about when he was saying your son, if he gonna build my house. So I think that's a foreshadowing as well, because we know that one of the prophecies about Moab was that they all was gonna die. You know what I'm saying? But then you also get examples like Ruth, who is a Moabite who took grasp on. And so what Dawid was showing here is what will save the Moabite.
Right.
If he grasps on, if he's willing to humble himself. And
can I use another word?
Yeah.
Same point. I completely agree with you. Graft in. Out here you will die.
Yeah.
But if you are able to graft yourself in with this body, that's the way that you will live.
Let me grab me like that.
If you are able to graft yourself into this body, that is the way in which you will survive what's coming. Anything outside of this body is going to be laid waste. And that's the overarching thing, right? Messiah is the root. We are the branches. Those wild olive branches have no chance unless they are grafted in. Neither do we who are cut off unless we are grafted in. Honestly, if we're dealing with other Israelites who want to have that conversation. Yeah. And so the only way for all of our survival is to be grafted in. Yes, Ruth was grafted in. Yes. That's the only way she could survive. Yeah. Okay. Does that help, sis? I think that's a good way to put that. Not the talkers, but the walkers.
Coach Keisha, that was good, or okay. Hallelujah.
Called T Tasha.
Big T, come on, sis. Lay it down.
That's one water, please.
I was looking at Coach Anya, when she was talking about the house of Dawid, the house of Shaul, and she was saying how the arrangements for Jonathan's son, and it made me think about Judah and the promise he made to Jacob about protecting Benjamin, and how both Shaul is a part of Benjamin tribe, and then when you think about like the connection of Dawid being part of Judah and Jonathan being part of Benjamin, it's just traveled on throughout the generations. It's like a forever thing. When I was just reading her comment that she had inside the chat. And then I was thinking about when y'all was talking about the grafted in, it made me think about Caleb too, and how he was an Edomite, or his father was an Edomite.
Dang.
And he went to war before they even got into the land. And look what he was promised.
Yep, that's true.
So,
Caleb,
like you said,
Caleb at the cookout every time. Like Caleb got to play
every time.
every time.
Caleb at that cookout.
Every time.
Yeah, so that's
Caleb
just making me think about, yeah, and how we all, like you say, we have to be grafted back in order for us to stand with the Messiah. So it matters with the bloodline, but then you also have to think about, we can't treat people a certain way because you never know who he gonna be using.
Okay, absolutely.
Because I just watched the video, somebody made them lick their boot, and I was just disgusted. It went from kissing the boot to licking the boot. It was just,
you watched that again? Oh, stop! Oh, I'm surprised.
It went from kissing to licking. It just made me mad. I was
like, what?
Why?
And the fact that that's still up on YouTube is suspect. You know what I'm saying? YouTube ain't pulled that yet. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man.
No.
You know how many crews and reported that video? Like, take that down, and it's still up there.
It's still up there.
The video of the bruise that was out there and made the Gentile guy kiss his boot, and you say lick his boot. I turned it off after the kiss. I'm disgusted.
Yeah, it went from the kissing to the licking. Like he used his tongue and licked the man boot. I was just disgusted.
That boy probably got off on that old sick man. Who you gonna let another man put his mouth on your boot for? How you good with that?
I agree that it's something that's done on purpose, because what it does is it causes people to, when they hear us say that we Israelites, those who don't know personally Israelites in their life automatically think, oh, Hebrew is. I just had that happen to me again last week. I even had a supervisor one time tell me about seeing somebody kissing somebody's boot or licking somebody's boot while he was walking across the street. Now he said that, but in my mind I said, you saw the video.
You saw it on YouTube.
Yeah.
You seen it.
But then I had to have the conversation with him to help him to understand that what you saw on TV is just that. That's what you saw on TV. You cannot take what you see on TV and think that that's real life.
And it's one of the first
and that's
videos.
really how you got to start looking at this stuff.
It's one of the first videos pop up when you type in Hebrew Israelite.
Yeah.
And then you know what? One of the coaches that I'm friends with, she educator as well. And she was telling me about, did y'all hear about the secret Israeli committee meeting that they had here? And one of the secretaries that's over the Israelis of America. And the only reason she found out is because of her name. So they sent it to like in a group of on everybody that was on the campus, because she's one of the professors on campus. Everybody that was on the campus got an email stating to come to the meeting. So because like I don't think they meant to invite her, but I think because she changed her name, they didn't really like pay that no attention. They just seemed like a Jewish name, basically.
Did she go?
And they was talking about, huh?
Did she go?
Yeah, she went.
I know that.
Yeah, she went. Somebody else videotaped it. I think they put it up. But one of the women that was in charge, she it was a secret meeting here, and she was talking about the young Black community and how they have to set out to get their votes and different things to help with the war in Israel, because the young Black community, because of what like they posting and stuff like that, and they saying that the young Black community is the influence, and they're saying that they stand with Palestine, and they're going against everything Israel. So they was trying to like really find ways to get the young Black community to be on their side, basically.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not just the young Black community. it's political, right? It is the Democrats in general and the what Malcolm called them,
Them are Republicans.
the the phrase is skipping my mind.
Mm.
I'm getting old, y'all. But what's happening is, in all honesty, we're seeing that the world in general is no longer under the spell that they were under for these 400 years that we were here originally, where everybody presumed that the Israelis had the ultimate authority and they were unquestionable, beyond reproach, and everything that they say you must agree with and follow. Them days are over.
That green goo is wiped clean from people's eyes.
And now people are saying, well, wait a minute, what are they doing? Well, wait a minute, how did they instigate?
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute, who said this land automatically belonged to them? We're saying, who said it belonged to either one of y'all?
And then look how y'all work. Look how timely was that the kid that watched the video, Ron's video, the basketball player.
Ronald Dalton?
Yeah, that watched Ronald Dalton video and put it out there so that everybody could see and know about it.
No.
The Irving.
No, Kyrie, yeah.
Kyrie
Is that what you
Irving,
said,
yeah.
Kyrie?
Yeah, Kyrie Irving. Look how timely that was.
Kyrie Irving.
Because that happened just enough time to get everybody that got the attention of the whole world. So everybody who was even who may have even been called, you know what I'm saying? That seed was
not paying attention.
Now they paying attention.
Yep.
You
That's
know what I
all you needed
mean?
was a seed.
And so now, man, now all you do is just sit back and watch it all unfold. Pray that you
watch prophecy unfold.
Pray that you found worthy of watching it unfold from a distance. You know, you want to be at the front. You know what I'm saying? Pray that you found worthy, but all you can do is watch it unfold at this point.
That's it.
Yeah, and when you talking about that,
last year?
Yep.
Was that last
year?
That
happened last year. And when they talk last season, last basketball season.
Wow.
And when you talk about that, his book and his movie went #1 in the country for almost like that's when he put that statement out. And it was because people was curious, like, what is he talking about? And they went in and they started watching and they started reading it. And then they started doing research. And he was like, I'm not pointing nobody in no direction. All I said was, it's a good movie. He said, I'm not promoting it. He said, the same way you post stuff like that. Yeah. He said, all I said was, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how y'all work.
That's all he said. He said, like, you promote one of your favorite books, you promote one of your favorite movies. All I did was promote one of the movies that I'm watching. Like, yo, and he said, all I did was like, yo, this is a good movie. Y'all need to check it out. I ain't promoting nothing else.
Yeah.
And they just went ballistic on him and called him everything but the child of God.
But see what they did, what I witnessed is I witnessed that demographic, that group of people divided in two, because you had those higher ups who was like, don't draw no attention to it. If you draw attention, the more attention you draw to it, the more you know what I'm saying. But then you had the catechumen who ain't plugged, didn't know, that kept drawing attention. Like, do something about this. Why is he still in the NBA? You know what I'm saying? And so they were clashing. You know what I'm saying? So you had kill the story, let it smother the story, but then you had the catechumen who wouldn't let it smother. You know what I'm saying? If all they know is, oh my goodness, that's why they're trying to get the population. Yeah, it's just, you can't control all the elements, the components, you can't do it.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, man, something else.
Family? Was anybody else who missed? All right, family. Always a blessing.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
I'm sure it's gonna be more to talk about next week. Because this thing is rolling now. And it's picking up steam.
Fast. Them labor pains coming back to back. You know, if I was looking at it, I'm no expert and I'm no doctor, but I say she about 3 to 4 centimeters dilated now.
Check out the video that I posted in the Kodesh Conversations group on Facebook.
Mhm.
And yeah, dig into that. We're going to dig into some more reading with our younger children, I think, because we're promoting back to basics with them, trying to get them where they're supposed to be at.
You gotta do that every now and again. You gotta go back to the basics.
Yeah, they tend to
Your
they tend
name
to slip
is,
slip through the.
your age is,
Mhm.
your address is. No, you say not that bad, but
Hey, sometimes depending on who you're dealing with.
these shit.
Question, because I just went on there to see what video it was talking about. Did y'all see the one that what's his name, Benaya, put on there about Magog and God?
When did he
I
do
saw
it?
He had
that
put
one.
it on his channel.
Okay.
I want to say he did like last week. It was really good. He
It
was
was
talking about
last week,
almost the
right?
If it
same
was last
thing.
week, yeah, we probably saw it. If it was last week,
But I
Yeah.
double checked.
yeah.
Hold on.
It was really good because it made me, when I looked at the names.
Coach Annie got her hand up.
Okay, Coty, come on to the mic. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, fam.
How are you?
Toda Rabah for the invite. It's my first time on. I'm so happy to be here, and I'll be here again on time next time.
Hey, hallelujah.
I wanted to add, are you gonna do some more on the priesthood? Because that lesson was just bomb diggity, and I need more.
Did you comment on that?
Maybe.
Okay.
You said
Okay.
maybe.
I'm not sure. I saw somebody left a comment recently. Can you hand me that, Josephus?
Yeah.
Kane says, I am going to do more on that. The reason I haven't yet, just so you all know, because I don't want y'all to listen. Her readers of her novels, they get on her so bad. I'll be like, oh my goodness, give her a break. I don't want y'all to do that to me.
It's this writer
Get
you
'em.
gave me. It's
Get
this
'em.
writer.
Dang. So the reason is this yours or mine?
That's probably mine if it ain't all marked up. But mine.
Yeah. So first of all, we had to stop and do the feasts.
Mhm.
So that was one thing that paused me up. But the other thing is, this is Josephus. I'm still going through this, and I'm still finding new and good information in here, and I'm still taking it in. So as I take it in, as I put it on my heart to bring some more of that, I will. But I'm not one of those people that's going to go beyond what I feel like I grasp and understand, because I don't want to say something that y'all ain't telling me to say.
Oh, is Menelik still in the room? Because Coty Latasha here just said she wanted the word series too. Because you know that was Menelik doing that. Look at him. Is he still here?
I didn't even know they was in here.
Yeah,
I thought I was gonna have to pick that up on my own too.
Hello, family.
Oh, shalom.
Yeah, I'm here.
Are you
Okay.
here?
What's good? What's good? I heard y'all talking about me. Y'all done conjured. No, I'm playing. Let me
I was
stop.
actually talking about
Stop.
the words
We talking about
series.
the series you started and didn't finish, brother. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're gonna pick it up. We're gonna pick it up.
At some point, huh?
We're gonna get the ball rolling on that.
I'll tell you what, if he don't pick it up, if I beat him to it, y'all know something. Because if he don't pick it up, I will. So it will get done one way or another.
Yeah. He's so nice to new people. He is. He said, I would have got told, look, I be having stuff to do and I'm gonna try and get to it, but hey, you know.
Come on, Menelik.
Talk about you. She said he's so nice to new people.
No, you talking about Menelik, right?
No, she's talking about you. Thank you. I'm so glad y'all started to see him. The true light, what we deal with here. Thank you, Coty. And Coty Anya, I go see it too.
I'm compassionate. I'm humble.
Ish, go see it too. Everybody, when they first meet him, they be like, oh my goodness. It's like the Hebrew Mr. Rogers. I just feel so comforted.
That's because that's what you
by
telling me.
him.
I ain't
just
never
feel
called
so
myself nothing like that.
Secure.
Children, do y'all ever hear me present myself like I'm like Mr. Rogers in any way?
You literally say it.
Thank you.
So
you literally
right.
Thank you.
You literally call yourself Mr. Rogers.
Thank you.
Son, you got your tassels on.
Thank you.
You not Mr. Rogers, hospitable. And that's it. They just don't understand that
Ooh,
because
Coty, see,
they just want
I'm
you to
hospitable.
like
Did you hear the
show your
fifth? I'm
Coty,
hospitable.
see, you study, boy,
See?
Coty, you know, see. Yeah, I try and I try and I try with
No,
you.
so Coty, I'm on your side.
No, you're
I'm
not.
on your
No,
side,
you're not.
Coty, because after
Don't
he
you
told
lie to me.
after he
No, you're
told
not.
Zion, he said,
I'm
yeah.
tired of this.
Let-
I
no,
know
Coty,
you're not.
Somebody said the
he
same
said
thing.
after
Who
you
said
after he
the same
told
thing,
Zion, he
sis?
said, yeah, you're supposed to train them. I said, oh, train them like how? Like puppies or like in the way of the word? Because I don't like that
Oh,
word.
uh-uh. And that's
Then you know he said
Zion
train.
like,
He said,
get
yeah,
him,
you're
Ike.
supposed to train
Yeah.
them.
He like, get him, Ike. Get him, Ike.
Y'all ain't-
Get him right in line, Ike.
Listen,
Y'all
I
ain't
sat over here. I sat over here with when he was talking to her with my mouth completely. I'm like, and he's showing her, like he get the book,
On
like
his
this is what
bandwagon.
I'm doing. I'm
Thank
like,
you.
I'm
Thank you.
question. He
Thank
be like,
you.
look, y'all know I be having stuff to do. I get around to it when I get around. I was like, what?
Thank you. You know what? This is what I've
Uh,
learned, especially when I'm seeing what's going on in the TV, how prophecy is being fulfilled.
Okay.
Everything done in the light, come to done in the dark, come to the light eventually.
Say when you sleep.
gon-
Yeah, don't be. My aunt is hospitable. I'm with you, aunt. She's hospitable. You just let her know there's a line, and in the line, she's probably like number 7, but
Mhm.
you gonna get there. See,
Mm,
Hey,
mm.
that's how it
I
is.
come up here and I bear my
I
soul to
appreciate
y'all.
the spoiling.
That's how y'all do me.
Salty Ania, you and your
I appreciate it.
that. Cause he did. He showed you where he was at. Y'all think he don't give y'all no you should imagine us here. Please. We don't even get that. Sometimes he won't even bother explaining himself. He just be like, nah,
You said I just grunt, huh?
nah.
Wow. Let me
I'm
see.
like, just nah, nah,
Okay.
nah. And go on about his business. I'm like, Hogan, no
Patty
explanation.
says, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, he is, Patty.
Nope.
What? That's what she means.
Family. I need to talk to her off camera.
Look,
We're gonna see y'all next week.
you just mad because they must.
No, look,
And
But
I'll
my
see the
mom,
link tomorrow, I think.
when we was
He
driving
threatened his
home, my
son
mom,
on camera. Look, that's a threat. That's a threat.
I
He
think
threatened him.
we'll see him tomorrow.
Son, you are coming to
yeah,
town.
look, when we was driving home, my mom said that. My mom talking about Rip and Gabora husbands got something on them, boy. They got something on their hands. I said, why you say that? She talking about, I can see why all of y'all friends.
Let me tell you
She
some,
talking
first
about,
of all,
whoa, that's a lot of work.
look at that. Wait till we get him together.
we got to straighten them out. Huh? We got to straighten them all.
She gonna try to hype that somewhere. I think Angie was the only quiet one. I said, Neil, Angie was not quiet. You just didn't see her because she was down there in her cave making all the noise. And then when she came up top, she was trying to be nice.
Angela was being all
Don't do
respectful.
that.
Kofi Angela, one of them silent threateners. She one of the ones that be, you be seeing her. She say something like, "You want me to throw punch a coat? I throw punch right in the throat." You know what I'm saying? She sit there so quiet, and you like, "What you just say, Cole?"
Y'all gotta stop.
Kofi Angela violent. She just so silent with it. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all gotta stop.
She's silently violent.
She is. She's man dark. Like, But I guess that's an art. That's an art. Now me, I'm not violent at all. Koti Gabora violent.
Oh, these
Coach
children's
Tasha
mouth is
violent.
dropped clean open over here.
You know what?
While she's trying to tell y'all about me, all
And
of
very, I'm very violent. I'm with it.
Yes, they very violent.
Yeah,
Koti
my
Leslie,
mom
the
just
only
said,
one.
can't see why.
I thought of Koti Joy. I thought of Koti Joy wasn't violent, but I found out they exposed her. Her children exposed her way back. Like, what? She's violent. She's violent.
Koti said, edit this part out. Huh?
Koti can't be
I'm about to
violent.
edit a lot of this.
Koti Keisha, I thought of Koti Keisha was, at first I thought she was so quiet and sweet. But when we got to the camping trip, she went on and let us know she violent. Just surrounded. Koti Celeste is
let
sweet.
me help y'all all understand. We traumatized. We dealing with our trauma. 400 years of affliction and oppression. Pent up beneath the surface. Waiting to let loose.
That gives
On
you
the first person step out of line.
What?
Coach
I've been
T09.
dragged on
Say
camera.
so.
Coach
Say
T09.
so.
Just got dragged on camera.
Finally, we love y'all. We're gonna wrap it on up. Eat some of these vittles.
My man.
Be back with y'all next week.
Get to them vittles.
Love y'all, man. We see y'all next time. Shabbat
Shabbat
shalom.
shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
I say yes. I'm too blessed to be stressed. Nevertheless, I must confess. Yes, this is Project Wake Up Jacob. On the Sabbath we rest and reflect upon his goodness. Because we are guided by the Ruach Kodesh. Yes, whenever I get dressed, yes, I'm dripping Kodesh fresh.